Okay, so get ready because we're diving headfirst into the spirit world today.
Really getting into it.
Yeah, we're cracking open the book on mediums
Okay.
by Allan Kardec.
It's a classic.
It is.
Yeah.
This book, it was written back in 1861.
Right. It's 1861.
It's having a moment.
It's so long ago.
It's so true, though. Like, all this stuff is so relevant right now.
Big time resurgence.
Like, everybody I know is suddenly, like,
Right.
an expert in crystals. And
Crystal, sage, you name it.
sage. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
like, I get it. But this is...
Right.
Kardec went all in on this stuff back in the day.
Yeah, he did.
Like, he didn't just, like,
No.
babble. He was like, I'm going to figure this whole thing out.
He was like, this is a system.
And it's a whole system.
I'm going to codify it.
It's called spiritism, but it's everything
Yeah.
from apparitions to, like, how spirits communicate with us to even, like, he talks about animals perceiving the spirit world.
Yes, true. Yeah, it's wild.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, so I guess I don't need to break out my Ouija board.
I don't know about that.
No.
I mean,
Okay.
you could try it out.
Ask it, what's for dinner tonight?
Maybe run it by Kardec, see what he thinks.
Okay, so
Yeah.
one thing that really struck me right off the bat
Right.
is how Kardec is like, to skeptics, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, he addresses it head on.
He does. He's not shying away from it.
He's not afraid of the skeptics.
No. He's like, just because we don't understand it
Exactly.
doesn't mean it's not a real thing.
Yeah.
He even compares
Oh, this is good.
a spirit communicating with a living person
Yeah.
to a free man talking to someone who's trapped in, like, a prison cell.
Wow.
Like,
That's a powerful analogy.
it's very vivid.
Isn't it?
So he's basically saying, like,
Yeah.
this thing might be invisible to us,
Yeah.
but it's there.
It's real.
It's real.
It can interact with us even if we don't fully get it.
And it can interact with us, which I
Yeah.
think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Because we tend to think of, I don't know, the spirit world as being like this separate thing.
We're totally separate. Yeah, like a different dimension.
Like it's over there, but it can't really touch us.
Right, right.
But he's saying, no, no, no.
It can?
It's a two-way street.
Absolutely. There's interplay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if we're going to entertain this idea for a second,
Okay, let's do it.
how does he explain it?
Yeah.
Because you can't just say, like,
You got to have a mechanism.
oh, magic.
Well, you need like some sort of explanation.
What's the how?
Yeah, what's the how here?
Did he get into that?
He does, and this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
He introduces this concept
Okay.
called the paraspirit.
Paraspirit.
Paraspirit, and it's basically this semi-material, fluid-like energy field
What?
that surrounds and is an integral part of the soul.
Okay, hold on. So like an energy drink for ghosts?
Not quite, but I like where your head's at.
Okay.
It's more like, think of it as a bridge between the spiritual and the physical.
Okay.
Right? So it's like
Okay.
that connection point.
All right.
The paraspirit is how spirits can interact with matter,
Okay.
how they become visible, or even, like in some cases, physically interact with our world.
So you're telling me that a ghost hand that moves a table,
Yes.
it's not just passing through it, it's actually like
It's interacting with it somehow.
touching it.
Exactly.
What?
And Kardec gets into how spirits might combine their paraspirit with the energy of a medium,
Okay.
what he calls animalized fluid, to basically give objects like a jolt of temporary life,
Oh, interesting.
allowing them to carry out the spirit's will.
Okay.
He even talks about experiments where tables seem to gain or lose weight,
What?
which he attributes to this manipulation of fluids.
Wild.
It is pretty wild.
Okay, so table turning is not just a party trick.
No, not according to Kardec.
He really thought this was like
He was like, this is legit.
a real way for spirits to communicate.
Yeah, he called it tiptology.
Tiptology.
Tiptology. And remember, this was a time when table turning was like
Like the it thing.
the rage to do. Yeah, everyone was doing it.
Okay.
But Kardec saw it as this like rudimentary form of communication,
Okay.
a way for spirits to answer like simple questions.
Like yes or no?
Yes or no?
Okay.
Like imagine trying to have a whole conversation using nothing but like table tilts.
That would be very
Frustrating, right?
frustrating. I mean, even like texting somebody who's just like,
Right, exactly.
yeah, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just
Use your words.
use your word. So how did they get past the whole...
Right. Yes. So
Lead.
like caveman communication.
So Kardec actually describes how tiptology eventually evolved into something called direct writing. So imagine this, a spirit working through a medium guides a pencil to write messages,
what?
sometimes even flipping pages,
Get out.
underlining passages, or expressing emotions through the handwriting.
So the spirit is basically ghostwriting.
Kind of, yeah, like ghostwriting through the medium.
Through the medium. That's nuts.
It's wild,
Well,
right?
how do we know it's not just the medium, just like
That's a great question.
Going rogue with a pen?
Right.
Yeah.
And Kardec addresses that.
Okay.
He points out that the content of these messages often went way beyond what the medium could have known
Okay.
or even imagined.
Interesting.
And he also cautions against mediums who claimed too many abilities.
Oh, so he's like,
Yeah. Like,
buyer beware even in the spirit world.
exactly. Some of these mediums might be fraudulent.
Okay, so you really have to be careful about who or what you trust, even from beyond the grave.
Absolutely. You've got to be discerning.
It seems like a big theme for him.
Huge. He emphasizes the importance of discernment.
Okay.
Like, you got to consider the spirit's character.
Because
Not all spirits are benevolent.
not all ghosts are friendly?
Exactly.
Got it.
It's like meeting someone new, right?
Okay.
You're not going to trust them with your deepest secrets right away.
Right.
You want to get to know them first.
You got to feel them out a little bit.
Exactly. You need to get a sense of their vibe.
Okay.
See if they're legit.
That's a good point.
It's
It seems like common sense, but
Right,
I'm
sure.
sure.
People get caught up
It's easy to get swept up.
in the excitement, yeah.
Yeah,
And they let their guard down.
exactly. And that's when things can get a little dicey.
Exactly. Which is why Kardec's emphasis on being cautious is so important.
So he's not shying away from the fact that there's like
Not at all.
a dark side
He's like, there's good and bad everywhere,
to all this.
even in the spirit world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he outlines different types of spirits.
Did he really?
Yeah, from the coarse and the frivolous types to the serious and the instructive ones.
Okay, so a range.
A whole spectrum.
Okay.
And he also warns about obsessive spirits
Obsessive spirits.
who can latch on to a medium and wreak havoc.
So not good.
Not good.
So you're saying that even intelligent people,
Yes.
even mediums,
Even mediums.
can get tricked by these like
Absolutely.
spiritual con artists.
He compares it to a disease the medium refuses to acknowledge.
See, that's what's so scary to me.
It is unsettling, right?
Because you think
You're in control.
you're like, I'm talking to ghosts. This is fine.
Right, exactly. And then all of a sudden it's like,
And then it's like,
you're in over your head.
not fine.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not good at all.
Okay.
So you got to be careful.
So be careful out there.
Yes. Be very discerning.
When you're communing with the spirit world.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
It's like he's saying, sure, explore, but like watch your back.
Yeah. Have your wits about you.
Yeah.
He actually gives you tools for that.
Okay.
He lists ways to assess a spirit's quality,
Okay.
their language,
Mm-hmm.
their moral character.
So you really got
You
to.
got to look beyond the surface.
Yeah.
And don't just take their word for it.
Especially if it's like.
Especially if they're like super grandiose claims
Right.
or like totally out there stuff.
Like, I'm going to make you a millionaire
Right.
if you give me your social security number.
Or if it just contradicts common sense.
Yeah.
You know, like if something feels off.
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut, exactly.
Okay.
He's all about that discernment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because he seems to be walking this line between like,
Totally.
okay, the spirit world's real, but also like,
But be careful.
be careful.
Be very careful.
Okay.
Yeah, like he's acknowledging the mystery, but also saying like, hey,
Don't be stupid.
don't check your brain at the door.
Use your head.
Exactly.
Okay. So
Yeah.
speaking of not checking your brain at the door,
Okay.
he also talks about these spiritist societies that were popping up.
Yes.
So this was like the cool kids club of the spirit world, right?
Basically, like if you were really into spirits, this is the place to be.
You joined a spiritist society.
Yeah, they were like popping up everywhere,
Okay.
like all over Europe in the mid-1800s.
So it was like a whole thing.
It was a movement.
It was like the cool new thing to do.
It was a cool new thing to do, yeah.
So what did he think about these societies, though?
So he saw both sides.
Okay.
He was like, on one hand,
Okay.
it's great to get together,
Okay.
talk about this stuff.
Share ideas.
Their ideas, the collective energy can enhance communication.
Oh, interesting.
But he was also wary
Okay.
of the potential pitfalls, such
Oh.
as like groupthink.
Okay.
You get a bunch of people together and they all start believing the same thing.
Right. It becomes like an echo chamber.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they
Yeah.
lose that critical thinking.
So he's like, don't check your brain at the door of the
Lizards,
spiritist society.
Don't check your brain at the door,
Okay.
even though it's tempting,
Right.
because you're with your people.
Right. We're all into the same weird stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
This is great.
But he's like, still be discerning.
Yeah.
Question things.
Don't just take somebody's word for it because they're like the leader of the group or something.
Right, or because everybody else is nodding along.
Yeah.
He's like, think for yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's about finding that balance, right?
Yeah, finding that balance between like
Right.
the community and the individual.
Right.
You know, you could be part of a group,
Yeah.
but you still need to think for yourself.
Got to be your own person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he really believed that these societies could be
Okay.
a force for good.
Okay.
Like he saw the potential for them to promote understanding,
Okay.
to foster compassion,
Okay.
to inspire people to live more ethical lives.
So it's not just about
It's not just about the spirit world.
talking to dead people.
It's about, like, how do we take this knowledge
right. Yeah.
and apply it to our lives?
You make the world a better place.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's like a whole philosophy.
Whole way of life.
It's not just like a weekend hobby.
It's not just a hobby.
You know?
It's
Yeah.
a commitment.
You're all in.
You're all in, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
It really is pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
it really is.
All this stuff, and it's like, we're still talking about it today.
It's timeless.
Yeah. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
but there's one thing from all this stuff you sent me I wanted to get to,
Right.
and it's a little bit of a heavier topic.
Okay.
Obsessive spirits.
Yeah, those are not so fun.
Yeah, not the friendly ghosts.
No, these are the ones you don't want hanging around.
This is like the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, it can get pretty intense.
So we're not talking about like your friendly neighborhood Casper here.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so we're talking about spirits that are...
These are spirits that can really latch on
They latch on.
to a person, usually a medium,
Okay.
and they can cause all sorts of problems.
And they're not all like out to get you, right?
Not necessarily.
Like some of them are just kind of confused.
Yeah, some of them are just lost and confused.
They haven't crossed over yet or something.
They don't realize they're dead.
They're stuck.
Stuck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, actually.
A little bit.
But then there are the other ones.
Yeah.
The ones that are not so benevolent.
So we're talking like
We're talking negative energy.
bad vibe,
Bad vibes all around.
jealousy,
Jealousy,
anger,
anger.
revenge.
Oh, yeah. Revenge is a big one.
Okay, these are not who you want to be inviting to your meditation circle.
No, you definitely don't want these guys at your party.
Oh, okay, so how do I know
Yeah.
if I've got an obsessive spirit hanging around?
So Kardec actually gives some really practical advice here.
Okay.
He says, watch out for sudden changes in personality,
Okay.
erratic behavior,
Okay.
or an unhealthy fixation on a particular spirit or message.
So basically, if you start acting really weird,
If your behavior takes a turn for the worse,
it might not be you. It might be
it might be a ghost.
a ghost.
Yeah.
And not the good kind.
Not the good kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what do you do?
Well, the first step is awareness.
Okay.
A lot of times people don't even realize they're being influenced.
You just think you're having a bad day.
Exactly. You're like, oh, I'm just stressed or whatever.
It's Mercury retrograde.
Exactly.
It's not me, it's the planet.
But sometimes it's a ghost.
Sometimes it's a ghost.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you figure that out, what do you do?
So Kardec believed that knowledge is power,
Okay.
and he provides specific prayers and rituals
Oh,
to
interesting.
help sever ties with these obsessive spirits.
Oh, okay, so it's like a spiritual cleansing.
Kind of like a spiritual smudging.
You're like, shoo, shoo.
Exactly. You're like, I'm taking back my energy.
Okay.
You're not welcome here anymore.
Bye, Felicia.
Exactly.
Okay, so he's basically giving us like a toolkit
He's giving us the tools to protect ourselves.
to deal with these unwanted spiritual guests.
Yeah. He's like, I gotcha.
This is good because it's
Yeah.
kind of reassuring.
It is reassuring.
Because it's easy to get kind of freaked out by all this stuff.
Especially when you're dealing with the darker side of things.
But it sounds like we have some agency here.
We do. We have free will.
You're not just like
We're not just victims
puppets.
for these.
Obsessive here.
We have a say.
It's good.
It is good.
Oh.
So this has been a trip.
It has. It's been a journey.
It's been quite the deep dive.
Deep dive into the world of Allan Kardec
And the spirit world.
and the spirit world.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to go meditate after all this.
Me too.
But in a safe space.
With protection.
Yeah, with my spiritual smudging stick.
Exactly.
Okay, well, if you're listening and you want to learn more,
Yes, please do.
definitely check out
We'll put some links in the show notes
Kardec's books.
to get you started.
Yeah, the Book of Mediums.
It's a classic.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe start with something else.
Baby steps.
Okay.
Yeah.
But keep an open mind out there
Always.
and trust your gut.
Your intuition is your best guide.
It really is.
Absolutely.
All right. Until next time.
Bye.
Hi, Whoop.